Okay, so let's talk about a patch of ocean that has become a total global legend. A place where compasses supposedly spin like crazy, and where ships and planes just seem to, well, fall off the face of the earth. Today, we're going to try and separate the fact from the fiction in the Bermuda Triangle.
You've all heard the stories, right? This kind of spooky stretch of the Atlantic where the normal laws of physics just don't seem to apply.
Yup, this infamous region has really captured our imagination like few other places on the planet. But what's the real story? Is it some kind of paranormal portal, or just a really misunderstood piece of our world?
The legend says over 70 ships and planes have been swallowed up by the so-called Devil's Triangle. But is that number even real? What's the truth behind all the hype? Let's get into it.
All right, first things first. Where is this place we're all talking about? Let's actually map out this supposed hotspot.
So the actual name Bermuda Triangle is surprisingly new. It was made up in 1964 by an author named Vincent Gaddis. But, and this is the interesting part, the creepy stories about these waters go back way further than that. And we're talking about a huge area here, about 500,000 square miles. So this isn't just some tiny, scary corner of the ocean. It's a massive and really, really busy stretch of ocean. You know, every big legend needs some killer origin stories. So let's look at the big ones, the famous disappearances that gave the triangle its scary reputation. I mean, this legend was built up over a long time. People even point to Christopher Columbus, who wrote about his compass going haywire and seeing a weird flame in the sky. But really, it was a couple of major incidents in the 1900s that really sealed the deal for the triangle's spooky reputation.
Think about this. It was one of the biggest losses of life for the U.S. Navy outside of a war, and the last thing anyone heard from them was weather fare all well. And then, just silence. Absolutely nothing was ever found. No wreckage, no distress calls, nothing.
But this is the big one. Flight 19. You've probably heard of it. It was just supposed to be a standard 2-hour training flight for 5 Navy bombers. But just over an hour into it, the flight leader gets on the radio, and he's totally lost. Says his compasses are shot.
You can hear the confusion in the radio calls. He's saying both of his compasses are broken, and he thinks he's over the Florida Keys, which made no sense. And then, to make this whole thing even crazier, one of the rescue planes they sent to find them also disappeared on the very same day.
See, this is the kind of stuff that legends are made of. No planes, no bodies, just gone. So with stories this wild, you have to ask, what in the world is really going on out there?
Well, when you have mysteries this big, you're gonna get some pretty wild explanations. And the theories really run the gamut, from, totally out there paranormal stuff to things that are grounded in actual science.
So, on one hand, you get these amazing claims. Alien abductions, weird energy from the lost city of Atlantis, you name it. But on the other hand, there are clues that are way more down to earth, things you can find in geology, physics, and the study of the ocean itself. So, let's check out the science.
Okay, so the truth might not involve aliens, but that doesn't make it any less incredible. In fact, the forces of nature at work in this part of the world are, well, they're just staggering.
The thing to remember is the ocean isn't just a big, calm pond. It's this incredibly chaotic system of forces, and a huge part of that is these massive currents. They're basically like giant rivers flowing inside the ocean. And guess what? One of the most powerful currents on the entire planet cuts right through the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's the Gulf Stream we're talking about. I mean, think of it like a massive superhighway for water. It moves more water every single second than every river in the world combined. It's hard to even wrap your head around that.
Now, a current that strong, that turbulent, it can just obliterate the evidence of a shipwreck or a plane crash. Any debris would get snatched up, carried away, and scattered over hundreds of miles. That makes finding anything, well, it becomes nearly impossible.
And this isn't just some old sailor's tale. It's a real, known navigational issue. For hundreds of years, sailors knew this area was just tricky. Now, imagine you're in a storm before we all had GPS in our pockets. A 20-degree difference between true north and what your compass is telling you. That is more than enough to send you way, way off course. Dangerously off course.
So, okay, let's put all the speculation aside and just look at the hard evidence. What's the final call? Is this place actually some kind of paranormal death trap?
Well, that's the official word right from the U.S. Coast Guard. And let's be real, these are the people who are out there rescuing folks in these waters every single day. And what do they say? They say that if you actually look at the numbers, the number of disappearances in the triangle isn't any higher than any other busy patch of ocean.
So it seems like there isn't one single spooky answer. It's more like a perfect storm of real-world things. Really unpredictable weather, that insanely powerful Gulf Stream, those magnetic quirks, and, just plain old human error. For instance, the Navy's own investigation